Listen, friend, you know what God's going to do? God's going to raise up a people that understand the value of presence. And He's going to connect us to a generation that is so sick of being patronized by a religious show. This generation is not as stupid as you think they are. They can tell when you're preaching messages trying to get them to come back next week. Friend, we need troublers. I'm going to read this. Hallelujah. And these were the writings of the pastor who had passed away. He's talking about Elijah and the prophets of Baal. He said the day for the contest arrived, and from morning till evening 450 prophets of Baal danced and cried out and cut themselves, calling to their God. Only no one answered, no one paid attention. Then Elijah prepared an altar to God. He placed an offering on it and ordered a trench dug around it. He commanded that 4 large jars of water be poured atop the offering, then insisted that it be done a second time and a third time, so that the altar was drowned in water. Elijah prayed and fire fell. The sacrifice was consumed and the water in the trench was licked up. All the people fell prostrate and cried, "The Lord, He is God, the Lord, He is God." Then the pastor wrote this. About 1864, he wrote, "From this dramatic account, several things have become clear to me. First, like the people of Israel, we have followed after other gods and allowed a distant king and his prophets of wealth to seduce us from the things of God. Second, I have noticed that when we do call out to God, we more resemble the prophets of Baal than the prophet of God. We stir up the dust with activity and congratulate ourselves on the show." We stir up the dust with activity and congratulate ourselves on the show. Where is the fire? Where is the fire? My God, have mercy. What will it take for the fire to fall? We need a troubler. What will it take for the fire to fall? We need a troubler. Someone who will make us uncomfortable. Someone who will scoff at our pretense when we claim to be God's people but don't live like it. We need a John the Baptist. Someone who's not afraid to look at our smug righteousness and say, "Oh, generation of vipers." We need a prophet with the Spirit of Jesus. Ho, 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 ho. Someone who is not afraid to liken us to whitewashed tombs. Pleasant to look at on the outside, but a rotting stench on the inside. We need a troubler. We need Elijah. Someone willing to call us out and challenge us to our face. How long will you go limping after other gods? How long will you serve the God of mercantile wealth? How long will you worship the gods of ease and comfort? If the Lord be God, then follow Him. But if Baal be God, then follow him all the way to hell. If the Lord be God, then follow Him. But if Baal be God, then follow him all the way to hell. Then he said, "Have I stated the argument too strongly? Have I offended you? I fear I have not offended you enough. I fear that my greatest sin as your pastor, that times I've cared more about what you think of me than what God thinks of me. God in heaven, send us a troubler." Oh, God, trouble the church. Woo! The Bible called Elijah the troubler of Israel. And I pray, God, that you would stir the waters of compromise. I pray that you would afflict the seat of everybody that is living in a state of being up one day and out the next day. Hallelujah. Woo. We need a troubler. Oh, hallelujah. We need troublers. I'm telling you, God's about to make the church uncomfortable. God's about to bust us out of our little Sunday morning 45-minute parade, and He's about to send something eye has not seen and ear has not heard. I prophesy the coming of a revolution. Come mess us up, God. Come mess our plans up. Come mess our programs up. Come mess our religion up. God, come mess up our box. God, come mess up our box. We're done doing it without presence, God. We're done doing it without conviction. We're done doing it without fire. We're done doing it without passion. I release presence meetings. I release Sunday morning services that go till 2 o'clock and ain't nothing there but presence. Whoa! Wednesday night youth meetings that go till midnight and nothing but presence. And mama and daddy fall out when they come in to check on their kids. Shake us us up, God. We're too comfortable. Shake us up, God. We're too comfortable. We're depending on the things of this world. And I'm asking you, love us enough to shake us tonight. Woo. Woo. Oh. God, raise up Elijahs that'll put their head between their knees. Oh, on Mount Carmel and cry out, fire, fire, fire. There's no greater insult to theology or the nature of God than to say, God, you're not enough. We need all these crutches. We need all this man-made humanistic garbage. God's raising up leaders that say, you're enough for me, God. And if half that church walks out, we're building this thing on your presence. And if Daddy Warbucks takes his tithe check and leaves, we're building this thing on your presence. Hallelujah. If the denomination pulls my papers, we're building this thing on your presence.